Welcome to lecture 35. So in the last class we have seen the behavior of the second order system based on the location of poles, and we know poles are the roots of the characteristic equation. And also we have started with the frequency response. That means if I have a network function n of s, which is, we know, polynomial in s, which is in numerator, and polynomial in denominator, and it has to be real and rational. Okay, so now suppose this network function, if I would like to analyze in frequency domain, then what can be done? So there s will be replaced by j omega, and then find out the magnitude response and frequency response. Okay, so what we are seeing, basically this n of s is equal to, there also some term which will be gain, where I will get it the leading coefficients equal to 1. Okay, and here assume that the degree of numerator must be less than that of degree of denominator, okay, in order to call it as a strictly proper transfer function. Then this also we can write as the running product of the zeros and poles, that is I is equal to 1 to say s minus zi is divided by the running product over j s minus pj's. Okay, and we say that zi will be the zeros and pj's will be the poles. Now I would like to evaluate in j omega domain. So for that, what we said, s will be replaced by j omega. Okay, so with this, what will happen now, your network function in frequency domain n of j omega will become k into product over I, running product over I. S will be replaced by j omega. So j omega minus zi over the poles will be j number of poles, and that will be j omega minus pi. Okay, now to obtain the magnitude and phase response, we need basically the pole zero diagram, or if I would like to evaluate, or if I would like to find out what is the magnitude and the phase response, I can find it out analytically, or I can find it out also graphically. Okay, so in order to find out graphically, what I need basically the pole zero diagram, and we know in S domain how can we do that. Okay, now let us see the computation of magnitude and phase response using graphical approach. Okay, so suppose my network function, let me write this way, which will be say n of j omega, I can write as k is equal to, this will be number of products. So suppose let me take s minus j0, s minus z1 divided by n, number of zeros, over s minus p1, s minus p2, s minus p3, that way. Okay, and which this also we can write this way, and in j omega domain we can express k j omega minus z0, j omega minus z1, etc., over j omega minus pole 1, j omega minus p2, j omega minus p3, this way. Okay, fine. Now each factor is now corresponding to vector in S-plane, whatever the factor, that is the poles, each factor or each root is now corresponding to vector in S-plane. So for example, if I am taking z omega minus j omega minus zi, this is also the vector in S-plane, and z omega minus ji, if I am saying, or j omega minus pi, which corresponding to vector from this pole zi or this 0 or this pole pi, which will be directed to any point on j omega axis. What does it mean? Let me explain you. Suppose this is my S-plane. Okay, this is sigma and j omega, this is my S-plane, and suppose this is my zi. Okay, and obviously it is in complex conjugate pair. Now if I draw the vector, this is the vector in S-plane. Okay, and I would like to draw j omega minus zi vector. Okay, so for that let me take any point on j omega axis. Suppose this is my point on j omega axis, and let me draw this in vector form that way. So this distance is nothing but j omega minus j di. Okay, so this vector represents j omega minus z di, and what happened, this will be the angle which will be, let's say, theta 1. Okay, so what I did, suppose I have taken the point on j omega axis, then vector represents, this vector represents j omega lies on j omega axis. Okay, and we have drawn the vector 2 0, so resultant vector will be this z omega minus j1, and angle made with real axis to j omega axis is, let's say, theta 1. Okay, fine. Similarly, I can draw for pole also. So suppose this is my pole, say pole locations are this thing. Let us take it any point on j omega axis, draw the vector, this represent the vector on j omega axis, this draw the vector to pi, and then draw this vector which will be now z omega minus pi, say this pole is pi. Okay, so this represents the vector magnitude from this pole to any point on j omega axis. Okay, and so this angle made with real axis is, say, phi 1. Okay, so now what will happen in n of j omega, there will be so many factors related with the zeros and poles. So if I will do graphically, then what I can write this I can write as n of j omega will be equal to, what I will get it basically, here I will get it one magnitude, say this is my n1 magnitude and this is my m1 magnitude. Okay, so what I'll get it here, m1 with angle e raised to j phi 1, and what I'll get it here, the magnitude n1 with angle e raised to j theta 1. So this network function can be written as now k is equal to n1 into n2 into n3 like this, divided by the magnitudes from poles m1, m2, m3, etc. with angle e raised to j theta 1 plus theta 2 plus theta 3 and e raised to j phi 1, phi 2 like this. Okay, understood? What is the meaning of it? Suppose if I have, say, let's say 2 number of zeros and 3 number of poles or 4 number of poles, whatever may be, and if I would like to find out what is the magnitude and phase response from that particular poles and zeros to any point on j omega axis, let me draw that graphically if I would like to see. Okay, this is sigma, this is j omega axis. Okay, and suppose I have this 0, I have this poles, say I have this 0 also somewhere here, for example. Okay, these many poles, fine. And suppose I will take it this point j omega 1 on j omega axis. Okay, now I want to know how much is the total magnitude, what is the magnitude response, or what is the magnitude and phase at an frequency omega is equal to omega 1. So what to do, draw the vectors from each pole and 0 from each pole and 0 to point on j omega axis. So I have drawn this one, let me draw with next point, this is 2, this is one more angle like this way, then this way and this way. Okay, so this is angle made by pole, so suppose phi 1, this is phi 2, phi 3. Similarly for angle made by zeros are, say, theta 1, theta 2, theta 3 like this. Okay, suppose one more pole is there, so again you can do that way, phi 3, etc. Okay, so what is the magnitude, will say I have the magnitude for this poles are m1, m2, m3, m4, and magnitudes for zeros are, let's say this is 0 so n1, n2, n3, etc. and angles I already know. Okay, So with this I can measure graphically the magnitudes and angles, and I can write n of j omega is equal to k is equal to magnitude from zeros are n1, n2, n2, right? So n1, n2, n2 into n3, etc. These are n1, n2 we have calculated from this, divided by m1, m2, m3, etc. into e raised to angles made by this. So j summation of all the angles to theta 1 plus theta 2 plus theta 3 over this e raised to j phi 1 plus phi 2, etc. Okay, and what will be the resultant? Then I can write as, it will be the running product over i's for all ni's, and it will be running product over mi's, and it will be the resultant of summation of all the angles made from zeros minus summation of all the angles made from poles. Okay, so this will help me to see pictorially the shape of the network function, that is the amplitude and phase response, okay, for each frequency, that is omega 1. Okay, so in short, what will be the magnitude n of j omega? It will be the product over I is equal to say 0 to let's say n. It will be the vector magnitudes from all zeros to point on j omega axis. Okay, similarly regarding the poles, so it will be again for j is equal to let's say n number of poles or m number of poles, and always n has to be less than m, and this will be again say vector magnitudes from all poles to point on j omega axis. This way you can calculate the magnitude response. If I would like to calculate the angle or phase response, what will be? It will be sum of all the angles of vectors from zeros to j omega axis, okay, minus sum of all the angles from poles to j omega axis. Okay, so this way we can plot the magnitude and phase response for each point, and then resultant we can draw it. For example, let me take it one example. Say my network function is like this, 4s upon s square plus 2s plus 2. So my question here is to draw the magnitude and phase response. Okay, so in order to do that, convert, let me write properly, which is 4s over s square plus 2s plus 2. Okay, so I would like to draw the magnitude and phase response for that. So convert, first find out the roots. So what are the roots? 4s over, the roots will be complex conjugate pair s plus 1 and s plus 1 minus j. Now let me evaluate in j over in omega domain or frequency domains. I have to write n of j omega is equal to 4 j omega divided by j omega plus 1 plus j omega plus 1 minus j. Okay, now what I have to do, what I am supposed to do, I have to find out what is the magnitude response and phase response n of j omega. Okay, so this, let me see it graphically. Analytically also you can do, but with the graphical representation I'll get it the more intuition about it. Okay, so let me evaluate the magnitude response and phase response at angle at frequency omega is equal to 2. Okay, so for this let me draw the complex S plane like this. This is my sigma, and say this is j omega axis. Fine. This is minus sigma and minus j omega. And what are the poles? 1 0 is at 0. This is 1 0. And what are the poles? Poles at minus 1 plus minus j. Okay, so here pole and d is here pole. Okay, so this is 1j and this is minus 1. Okay, now what I have to do, I have to evaluate the magnitude and phase at frequency omega is equal to 2 here. Okay, so it is 2j. So for that, what is the process? Let us draw the vector from all poles and zeros to the frequency of interest. So I have drawn this. This is one vector, okay, and this will be another vector, and this is one more vector, okay, from 0. Right? So this is one angle, this will be second angle, and this will be one more angle. Fine. Now what is to be done? I have to obtain how much is this magnitude, how much is this magnitude. Okay, so this is 1, this is 1, so how much is this? The square root 2. This is 1. What about this? 2 plus 1. It is, this is 2 and this is 1. Okay, so how much is this? This is 3 and x is 1. So the hypotenuse is square root of 10. What about angle? This is 1 and 1. So this angle is 45 degree. And what about this angle made the real axis? It is tan inverse of 3 upon real is 1. So it will be tan inverse of 3 by 1, which is 1.80 degree. Okay, so okay, now I know the magnitudes and pole. Also I should know what is the magnitude and this thing, pole from 0. So how much is 2? So okay, so how much is the magnitude from this 0 to the frequency of interest 2j? It is 2 with angle is 90 degree. Okay, this angle with this is 90 degree. Fine. So let me calculate how much is the magnitude at 2j. Okay, so what will be the magnitude at 2j? It will be 4 as it is, which is k. Magnitude from 0 to 2j is 2 divided by square root of 2 into square root of 10 from poles. So it is 1.78. And let me calculate angle of to n of 2j, which will be angle made from 0 is 90 degree, from pole, one pole is minus 45 degree, second pole is 71.8 degree. So resultant is minus 26.8 degree. Okay, so this way I can calculate for so many frequencies. Right? Okay, and if I know, I'll be able to draw the magnitude and phase response with respect to omega. Okay, now let me calculate for two extreme frequencies. Suppose let me calculate the magnitude and phase response for omega is equal to 0 and omega is equal to infinity. So if in order to calculate at omega is equal to 0, what is my network function? N of s is 4s over s square plus 2s plus 2. Okay, so limit j omega tends to 0 means s tends to 0. I would like to evaluate this, which will be lower power of s in numerator, lower power s in denominator. So 4s by 2, which is coming as 2s. Okay, limit tends to 0, which is 2s. This is my 2s, and let me evaluate at s tends to 0, which is 2j0. Okay, so from that I would like to know what is the magnitude and phase response. So what is the magnitude at 0j? Magnitude at 0j will be obviously 0, but what will be the angle? Angle will be, see here, angle will be here. I have to evaluate, so I can take it this. What is angle from pole? This will be 45, this will be minus 45, 0. And what about angle from 0? It will be basically I am traversing on j omega axis, that's why angle is 90 degree. Okay, so what is the angle at 0j? It will be 90 degree plus angles is 45 degree from one pole and minus 45 degree from other pole. Okay, so which will be 90 degree. Fine. Because mind you, it is not 0, because it will be what 0 is we are traversing on j omega axis for 0, that's why angle contribution is 0 there, 90 degree there. Okay, now similarly let me evaluate for omega tends to infinity. So if I would like to evaluate at omega tends to infinity, so let me check it out for limit s tends to infinity, highest power in numerator 4s, highest power in denominator which is s square. So it will be limit s tends to 0, 4 upon s, and which will be 4 upon j0. Okay, so what is the magnitude at infinity? It is again 0. And what is the angle at infinity? So to calculate this, I can take the help from graphical representation again same way. So 1 0 is here. Okay, two poles are like this, and where I would like to evaluate at infinity. Okay, so if infinity means what is the angle contributed by pole? It is 90 degree, and this is 90 degree. Okay, and what is this angle contributed by 0? It is again 90 degree. Okay, so what is total phase contribution from poles and zeros to j infinity? So angle contribution from 0 to point j omega is 90 degree, and here minus 90 degree from one pole, minus 90 degree from second pole, so it is coming at minus 90 degree. Okay, so with this information I'll be able to, I think, can plot the rough plot of magnitude and phase response. So let me write that whatever we have calculated now, which was s is equal to j omega, what is the magnitude and what is the phase. Okay, so suppose I will take it j0 at omega is equal to 0. What is the magnitude contribution? Is total 0 by both poles and zeros are 0. Angle is 90 degree. We seen how it has come. When omega is 2, what is the magnitude contribution? That is coming out 1.78, and it is minus 26.8 degree. Now when omega is infinity, how much is magnitude? Is 0, and what is the angle contribution? Recently we said minus 90 degree. So what is this? With this we observe that magnitude starts from 0. Okay, as magnitude start from 0, as frequency increases, so magnitude start from 0, reach to maximum at some frequency, and again what is happening, again decreases and again reach to 0 at higher frequency. Similarly for the phase is starting from 90 degree at omega is equal to 0. As omega varies, it is crossing the 0 axis and again 0 degree and reach to minus 90 degree. Okay, so how is the rough behavior? Whatever we talked, if I would like to draw it, so will it be? It will be something like this. Okay, as omega increases, magnitude is increasing. At some frequency it is magnitude of n. At some frequency it is maximum, and after that again it reaches to 0 for higher frequency. Similarly for phase, how will it be? Phase varying from what it is varying from 90 degree at omega is equal to 0, and then somewhere which is at maximum, it is cutting at 0 degree, and then it is going at minus 90 degree. Okay, this is basically the phase response, minus 90 degree. So we can see here this is basically not a good band pass filter, but it is a sort of band pass filter. Okay, now what I would like to know, this what is the frequency where I am getting the maximum magnitude and 0 phase. Okay, so for that also I can take the analytical approach help. So n of s I can write as 4s over s square plus 2s plus 2. Let me express in j omega. So what this again I can write ss, if I'll take it common, so it will be 4 upon s plus 2 upon s. Okay, and this will be 4 by substituting n of s is equal to j omega, you can write as 2 plus j omega plus 2 upon j omega, which will be omega upon 2 plus j omega minus 2 upon omega. Okay, so from that, what is the magnitude response? Magnitude response I can calculate as 4 over square root of 4 plus omega minus 2 upon omega square. Okay, this is my phase response. And what will be the angle? Angle will be 0 degree here, but let me write angle of n, which will be 0 degree here, over tan inverse of omega minus 2 upon omega over omega minus 2 upon omega over 2. Okay, or no need to write here, from here only directly you can obtain. Okay, now my aim is to compute the maximum magnitude. So when I'll get it the maximum and when my omega will be 0, when this factor will be 0, when there is a variation, what is happening with the magnitude? As omega is varying, then there is a change in the magnitude, right? So when n will be maximum, when omega minus 2 upon omega, this factor is basically 0. Okay, means what? Omega is equal to 2 upon omega. So what will be omega square? It will be 2. So what will be omega? It is square root of 2. Okay, fine. And negative frequency, I'm not interested. I'm interested for positive frequencies, so I'll take it square root of plus 2. Okay, so at root 2, what I'll get it? How much is the maximum magnitude? Magnitude I'll get it, n is equal to 4 divided by 2, because this factor will be 0 at omega is equal to root 2, and 4 root 4 is 2, so it will be 2, so magnitude is 2. Okay, and what about angle? So angle, if I would like to calculate, I will calculate here from this. Okay, so what about angle at omega is equal to root 2? So this will be 0 degree over 2 plus omega minus 2, omega is 0 at omega is equal to root 2, right? So it will be J0. So what is the total angle contribution? The total angle contribution is 0 degree. Here 0 J, but some real part is also there. So I am not only traversing on J omega axis, I am traversing on 2 plus J0 like this, okay, which will be having some real part also this way. I am traversing on real part, not on imaginary part. Previously, what we have taken at J0 here, basically we are traversing only on J omega axis. That is the reason we have taken plus 90 degree. Okay. Or here also with this you can evaluate. So suppose if I would like to evaluate what is the angle at omega is equal to 0. So what will happen here? This omega is equal to 0 means this is here let's say omega is equal to 0 means this is negligible part. Okay, so what is remaining? N of j omega, what is remaining here? 4 upon 2 plus j0. Okay, and yeah, omega is 0, yeah, so it should not be this, it will be 2, omega is 0, but it should come minus 2 upon 0, so which will be 2 minus j infinity. Okay, and what about this? This is minus infinity means it will be minus 90 degree. This angle is 0 degree. Okay, and magnitude should not be written. Okay, angle I'll write. So this angle is 0 degree. This is minus 90 degree. Now it is going to numerator, so angle will be 90 degree, and this is the reason that at omega is equal to 0 I am getting 90 degree angle, as you can see here. Okay, fine. Now next, if I would like to calculate how much is the angle at omega is equal to infinity, so here what will happen? This omega is equal to infinity means this is negligible, so now it will be 4 upon 2 plus j infinity, and it will be 4 upon 90 degree, that is 0 degree upon 90 degree, which is minus 90 degree. So with this also we can prove it. Okay, so at omega is equal to root 2, basically the angle will be 0 degree, and your maximum magnitude, which is 2. Okay, so with this you will be able to know the magnitude and phase response or the frequency behavior in terms of magnitude and phase response. Yeah, so with this you will be able to know whether circuit passing low frequency components, high frequency components, or what else, or is it behaving as a band pass filter or not. So in this, basically it is the not good band pass filter, but it is sort of band pass filter. Okay, now let us see other factors also. So suppose my network function consists of the zeros s square omega 0 square into some function f1 of s. Okay, now let me evaluate its magnitude and angle contribution. So let me evaluate at n of j omega, so it will be what? Minus omega square plus omega 0 square into f1 of j omega. I don't bother about f1 of j omega. I would like to see what is the effect of the zeros on j omega axis. What is this? What are the roots? The roots will be s will be equal to s1 and two roots will be plus minus j omega naught. Means what? Here I will get the 0 at j omega naught and minus j omega naught. Okay, so now what can be, let me evaluate the magnitude and the phase response at this particular thing. So let us calculate first the phase behavior due to complex conjugate pair. So how will it be? Let me again draw. Okay, here only. So this is real part sigma and this is my imaginary part j omega. Fine. So now n of j omega angle will be angle omega 0 square minus omega square plus angle of f1 of j. I don't bother about it. I am interested to see what is the effect of the complex conjugate pair of zeros. So when omega is less than omega 0, so what is the angle contribution? So when omega is less than omega 0, so omega point is here. So what is the angle contribution? It is 90 degree and it is minus 90 degree and this is plus 90 degree. Okay, so what is the total angle contribution? Plus 90 degree minus 90 degree, it will be 0 degree. Okay, and when omega is greater than omega naught, what is happening with the angle? Here now what will happen? Omega comes here, which will be greater than 0. So what is the angle? It is 90 degree and by this 0 also 90 degree. So total angle contribution is 180 degree. Okay, angle of n is 180 degree when omega is greater than omega 0. Okay, what about magnitude? So for this, if I would like to check the magnitude, so at omega is equal to omega naught, what I am observing, magnitude is 0 for this complex conjugate pair. Okay, forget about this I am not bothering. Okay, fine. So here what I want to conclude is that for if there will be the complex conjugate pair of zeros, then what is happening? What is happening when omega is equal less than omega 0, angular contribution is 0, but when omega is greater than or equal to omega 0, there is a sudden jump of 180 degree. Okay, so let me, if I would like to draw the angle contribution omega with this angle of n of j omega, so what will happen? When omega is equal to omega naught, angle is 0, but when less than 0, angle is 0 degree, and when omega is greater than omega naught, what is happening? There is a sudden jump of angle 180 degree. Okay, and what about the magnitude? Somewhere I will get it something, and at omega is equal to omega naught, it is 0. Okay, like this I will get it for the complex conjugate pair. Okay, let us evaluate now for the poles. If the poles are complex conjugate pair, so which is suppose s square plus omega naught square into some other thing f of j omega. So here let me evaluate only the angles. So it is minus omega square plus omega naught square. Now if I would like to draw on s plane, which is sigma, and this is j omega axis, so I will get it one pole at omega naught, second pole at minus j omega naught. Yeah, it is j. Okay, so what is the angle contribution? So suppose I'll take it point here. So when omega is less than omega naught, what is happening? This angle is minus 90 degree, this angle is plus 90 degree, so angle contribution is 0 degree. Okay, and when omega is greater than omega naught, so suppose point here, so what is angle contribution from this to this? It is plus 90 degree and it is also plus 90 degree. Okay, but it is in, these are in poles, so what will be the angle contribution? It will be, it goes to numerator, so it becomes minus 180 degree. So what conclusion I can draw it here? That the angle contribution from the complex conjugate pole will be the sudden jump from 0 to minus 180 degree. So suppose this is 0 degree. Okay, so what will happen? There will be a sudden jump of minus 180 degree from that frequency omega 0, where I am getting the complex conjugate, not complex conjugate, but I will get it the imaginary pairs. Okay, not complex conjugate, I am sorry, not complex conjugate, but the roots are on the j omega axis. Okay, okay. Now let us consider one transfer function f of s which will be say s square plus omega 1 square. Okay, next is s square plus omega 2 square. Okay, and assume that omega 1 here is less than omega 2. Okay, so let me write its f of j omega. So f of j omega will be minus omega square plus omega 1 square divided by minus omega square plus omega 2 square. So first let me evaluate for zeros and then let me evaluate for poles. So how is the pole 0 plot here? So there are the poles at omega 1, so j omega 1, zeros at j omega 1, and there are the poles at omega 2 which are greater than that omega 1. So here j omega 2 and here minus j omega 2. So this is the situation. Now here also I would like to contribute, I would like to see what is the magnitude and phase contribution. Okay. So let us calculate for magnitude. So at omega is equal to 0. So what will happen with magnitude? It will be omega 1 square upon omega 2 square. Okay, and what we said, omega 1 is less than omega 2. So magnitude of this at omega is equal to 0 is obviously less than 1. Okay, and now as omega varies, what will happen at omega is equal to omega 1? Now here omega varies. Okay, so when omega varies and when omega is equal to omega 1, what will happen about the magnitude at omega is equal to omega 1? It will become 0. Now again, if I am varying from omega is equal to omega 2, okay, so this is first situation, this is second situation. What will happen for the third situation? When omega is crossing omega 1, so again the magnitude is increasing, and when omega is equal to omega 2, what is the magnitude at omega is equal to omega 2? It will be infinity. Okay, and now again omega is becoming infinity. What is happening at omega tends to infinity? What is happening with the magnitude? It will be finite. Okay, which will be near to 1. Some finite magnitude which will be near to 1. Okay, so how can we draw? Okay, so how can we draw it? Basically, in order to draw it, first let us see how it is. At omega is equal to 0, what is happening? My magnitude is less than 1. When omega increasing, magnitude will decrease it. When omega will become, here only we will see, when omega is equal to 0, magnitude is something which is less than 1, because omega 1 is greater than omega 2. As omega increasing, what is happening? Magnitude will decrease it because of this factors. Okay, at omega is equal to omega 1, what will happen? Magnitude will become 0. Again, if I am increasing omega, what will happen with the magnitude? Magnitude will increase. When omega is equal to omega 2, magnitude will become infinite. When omega is again infinity, what will happen? The contribution from zeros and poles, it will be infinite divided by infinite, means it will be approximately finite, and which will be equal to 1. Now if I would like to draw the magnitude response for it, how will it be? Okay, so to draw it, suppose this is my omega axis, this is magnitude of f. Okay, so this at omega is equal to 0, then I would like to know what is at omega 1, omega 2, and then other omega tends to infinity. Okay, so when omega equal to omega 0, so obviously magnitude is less than 1, because omega 1 is less than omega 2. Then as omega increase, it will be decreasing. At omega is equal to omega 1, the magnitude is to 0. Okay, then again omega is increasing, frequency is increasing, so correspondingly magnitude response also increase like this, and then it reach to infinity when omega tends to omega 2. So I cannot show the infinity, that's why I have to stop somewhere, and then what will happen after that? Omega again, if it cross omega 2, what is happening? As here, if it cross omega 2, then omega tends to infinity, means for this again it will decrease and reach to approximately 1 at omega tends to infinity. That way, this is the magnitude response. And what about the phase response? So here, what is happening at omega is equal to omega 1, magnitude is 0, magnitude is increasing that way. Now if I would like to evaluate for the phase, so at omega is equal to 0, your phase is 0, okay, because only real part, okay. And then when omega is equal to omega 1, then what is happening? Due to the introduction of the pair of the roots, pair of the zeros on imaginary axis, there is a jump of 180 degree at omega is equal to omega 1. It remains same. When again I am introducing the poles at imaginary axis at omega 2, so what is happening? If there are the poles on j omega axis, what is the effect? There will be the sudden jump of minus 180 degree. And when omega increasing greater than omega 2, okay, so what is happening? The angle contribution is obviously 0, because that you can see from here also. Okay. So when omega is infinity, what is happening? Because everything is 90 degree, this is 90 degree, this is 90 degree, 180 degree, okay. And from poles 90, 90, 180, and poles will shift here, so angle will be 0 degree, okay. So how is the phase response for this is, okay, so at omega is equal to omega 1, here this angle is 0 degree. At omega is equal to omega 1, there is an introduction of the zeros on imaginary axis, so sudden jump at 180 degree. It remains same till omega 2, and what I observe, there is the introduction of the poles on imaginary axis, so what will happen? There is a sudden jump of minus 180 degree at omega is equal to omega 2, and omega tends to infinity, the angle contribution is 0 degree, okay. So this is omega 1 and omega 2. So with this graphically, you can visualize in a good way than of your analytical approach, okay. Now as we have seen, if the poles lie on imaginary axis, what was the angle contribution? The angle contribution was minus 180 degree. And what about the magnitude? Magnitude at omega 0 will be infinite, okay. Similarly, what about the zeros? The angle will be 0, magnitude will be 0 like this, okay. And what is the angle contribution? Angle contribution is plus 180 degree, plus 180 degree for zeros, okay. Now this situation will happen when the poles or zeros, say zeros, or let me say poles, when the poles lie on imaginary axis, okay. Say plus j omega 1, and this is minus j omega 1. So when let me write this s square plus omega 1 square, okay, this is my network function f of s, or in f of j omega I would like to write will be omega 1 square minus omega square, okay. Now if let me shift slightly these poles towards left side here, now at this time what will happen? Vary slightly and assume that this is sigma 0, and which is very less than omega 1. So in this case, what will happen with the magnitude? So magnitude will not become infinite, okay. It will not become infinite because of the introduction of real part, okay. Some factor will come, let's say 0.001 or 0.002, something like this, okay. So in this situation, what will happen with the magnitude response? Magnitude response at omega is equal to omega 1. Now it will not be infinite, but it will be very large magnitude, and then it will decrease like this, okay. But it will not be infinite. You will get it some finite value at omega is equal to omega 1. Okay, if this is the case, then what about the phase? There will not be sudden jump of the minus 180 degree, but there will be approximately phase jump of minus 180 degree, not exactly. Okay, so there will be the approximation of the minus 180 degree phase shift. Okay, this is magnitude of f, this is angle of f with respect to omega. Okay, this is for poles. Now if zeros also we have seen, if the zeros lie on imaginary axis like this, okay, so what is my f of s? F of s is s square plus say omega 2 square. So in this case minus omega square plus omega 2 square. So now if this is the case, then what is the magnitude? We said magnitude was 0, but now I just slightly shift towards left side these zeros and say somewhere like this, which minus sigma 0, and say sigma 0 is very less than something omega 2 here. This sigma, this is j omega. Okay, so now what will happen? The magnitude which was previously like this at omega equal to something omega 2 or omega 1, whatever the frequency of zeros you are taking. Okay, what is the frequency or what is the zero you are lying? Okay, wherever the zero, it is lying on either omega 2 omega 1, you take it suppose omega 2. So now if the 0 purely lying on omega 2, then magnitude will be 0, but if I'll shift towards left side by some amount sigma 0, which we said that it is very less than omega 2, so here what will happen? It will not be 0, but there will be such kind of thing will come. It will not be 0, but like this will come. Okay, so there will be slight notch. Okay, and what about the phase behavior? So the with respect to omega, this is magnitude and this is angle f. Now in this case what will happen? There will be not the sudden jump of plus 180 degree, but there will be smooth jump of plus 180 degree, which is approximately 180 degree. Okay, so this kind of behavior, basically the behavior of band reject filter or notch filter, and this kind of behavior is the band pass behavior. Okay, so in order to have the good band pass behavior, what should be the case? I should have the complex conjugate pole, so that my real part will be very less than that of my imaginary part or imaginary component, so that I'll get it the good peak as a band pass. And for band reject, if I would like to have the very good band reject, what should be? I should have the complex conjugate pair of zeros, and where the real component of that complex conjugate pair has to be very small than that of the imaginary component of it. Right. Okay, so with this I stop here. We'll continue from the next class. Thank you.